Alright, what up, guys? On my way to the gym Sunday morning. It's my 8th day in a row going to the gym. No, 7th. 7th day in a row going to the gym. So I'm going to be hitting a road trip up soon, so I'm trying to get my gym time in before we get on the road. But, man, last night I watched UFC 195. Robbie Lawler versus Condit. And, man, what a main event. I think that's the best welterweight title match I've ever seen. Like I had seen two guys going after it like that, like two hungry young guys in their prime, neither one believing that the other one could beat them, just going at it. And man, when it started out, I thought Robbie Lawler would have a problem with head kicks for Condit, but man, he didn't have any problem with head kicks. The problem he had with Condit was Condit fights really unorthodox. He has this really, mix it up style of just throwing everything at you. Like, he's never predictable. He never does the same thing twice. The only bad thing I say about him, he doesn't move his head around a lot. He doesn't have great defense, but he mixes it up so well, and he's so good at keeping guys off of him, and he's tall for the weight class, and he's got a long reach, that it really just, you can tell Robbie Lawler was kind of getting confused. But the positive side with Robbie Lawler is he didn't get angry and then just start swinging for the fences and leaving his chin out there and anything like that. But you could tell he was really trying to figure out the puzzle that was being presented to him. And at some points you could see him he slowly started moving towards Condit. He started checking the kicks. He's like, all right, I got that. And he started slipping the punches. Then he let a right hand rip or let a left hand rip, catch him with a hook or a straight left, and connect. But Condit connected a few times too. He didn't connect as hard as some of the times Robbie Lawler connected, but he did connect, quite a bit. Overall, Carlos Condit threw a ton of punches. He missed a lot of punches too, but he just threw a lot of strikes. I think he was trying to make sure if it went to a decision that he would outpoint Robbie Lawler. Was the Greg Jackson's camp, and there's a very smart camp, so they knew what they were doing. But he threw 300 strikes by the end of the fight. I didn't see how many he landed, but he threw a ton of strikes. So he wanted to make sure if it went to a decision that he would win. But Robbie Lawler, he didn't throw as many strikes before. When he threw them, they counted. And when he threw it and it connected, it counted. And he caught him with a big left and a big right. At the end, it went to a decision. And one judge gave it to Condit, one judge gave it to Lawler. And then they get left you in that suspenseful moment, okay, who got it, and split decision for Robbie Lawler. But one thing that's made this Robbie Lawler so interesting as a champion is, a lot of times you get champions, guys become champions because they're just ahead of the pack. They're way, way, way ahead of the pack. And they dominate the division, and then eventually there's this cat that comes out who's ahead of the pack too, and then you have an interesting title fight. But all the rest of the title fights are just, you hoping that a guy connects with him. But overall, it doesn't always work. Okay, just making sure I'm actually recording. But with Robbie Lawler, when it comes to Robbie Lawler, he's not way ahead of the pack. He's not light years ahead of everyone in the welterweight division. Every fight he has is a tough fight. The Hendricks fights were tough. The Rory McDonald fights were tough. This Carlos Condit fight was super tough. Every time he's gone in there, he is having wars, and he's coming out on top of these wars he's having with all these elite welterweights. And that's just making the crowd, including myself, just love him, because you're like, dang, this dude is a warrior. He's standing on top of the division with a belt, and it's not like he's way ahead of everybody and hoping that, nobody catches up to him like GSP. He's right there in the mix with everybody else. He's just a little bit sharper, and he wants it just a little bit more than all the rest. And I guess that due to the fact that it took him 15 years to become a UFC champion. He didn't fight since 2000. Well, it took him it's been a long time coming. That's a lot of hours in the gym. That's a lot of years in the gym. That's a lot of fights. That's a lot of training. That's a lot of injuries to get to this point now. So he wants it a little bit more. And I think that makes the people just love him. I know that's why I love him. I love him because I guess love's a strong word, make it sound like I'm hot for the guy, but that's the reason I like him as a fan, is because he's not this Anderson Silva, or this GSP figure, or this Conor McGregor figure that's just, it seems like he's ahead of everybody else. And that's his advantage, is that he's just ahead and hoping that no one catches up. And if people do catch up, they'll just retire. That's what GSP did. GSP was years ahead of all the fighters he fought. And when they caught up, he was, all right, I'm done. But you got Robbie Lawler. He is right there in the mix with everybody. He's ahead of the pack, but he's just barely edging the pack out. That's making it a very exciting division right now, because every fight with him, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if he's going to blow him out of the water, or if he's going to get blown out of the water. And he gets hurt, and he gives it back. But the last round of the main event, that was amazing. You want to talk about two guys just leaving out. You could tell Robbie Lawler felt like he was behind. He needed to knock Condit out. And going into the 5th round, I kind of thought, I was like, he might need to knock him out. Because I think I had it 3-2. I can't remember exactly because I didn't write it down. But I remember giving Lawler 2 rounds. And I remember Condit, I was like, man, I think Condit got about 3 rounds. And Lawler came out in that 5th round, and he just put the heat on Condit. And you could tell, like, Condit, I don't think he's used to anybody coming after him that aggressively. And he was getting caught. He was getting caught with some big shots. But, he didn't back down. He didn't back off. He just kept trying to return fire and back Lawler up with kicks and keep him out of distance. But Lawler was just on him. And I think that's what won him the fight, really. Because you look at the overall fight, Condit had landed a lot more strikes and had a lot more points. But, man, what Lawler had was octagon control for most of the fight. He lost it a few times, but he had octagon control, and he had aggression. And his strikes, when he landed strikes, they mattered. Like, he didn't throw any, like, little kicks out there to score points, nothing like that. Everything he threw was with the intent that I'm going to win this fight. He didn't. Now, that played against him. There was a few times in there I was like, his corner needs to tell him stop loading up. Because you can see, like, he was loading up on some punches, like, a little too much. Like, the old Robbie Lawler was coming out. Like, he was cocking them punches back and letting them fly from his mama's house. And with a guy like Condit, you're just not going to catch him with that. You're not going to catch him sleeping like that. He's ready. He knows what he needs to do. You can do that with the lower end guys, but these high-level guys, you start loading up strikes, man, they're going to start seeing them coming. Unless you're just really good at masking them, like Dan Henderson does. But overall, great main event. Super exciting. The end of it, at the very end of the fight, the last punch thrown, the bell rings, both guys lay down on the cage. Both guys, right next to each other. No shaking hands, no hugs, just laying on the cage next to each other. Just like, God dang. Like, both of them was just done. Had through every last ounce of energy they had in the fight, man. That is rare for a UFC fight. It is rare to get 2 guys that leave absolutely everything in the cage. Like, they really, now you realize, like, hey, both these guys wanted to win. Both them wanted to be top dog in the welterweight division. And that's what a title fight's supposed to look like. Yeah, I watched a lot of title fights in the UFC where at the end, cats just don't want to be a highlight reel knockout. We went through that phase in the UFC. All the real UFC fans know, like, man, 2 years ago, it was all about just trying not to, if you was going to lose, you didn't want to be a highlight reel knockout. And that became so annoying because you're like, why are you even here? Your guys are showing up just not to get knocked out. No intentions of winning the fight, just not to get knocked out. So, really, really good fight, man. I mean, amazing welterweight matchup. Two guys who really, really went after it and really, really wanted it. And, kudos and thumbs up to both of them for putting on an amazing fight and for leaving it all out there. Being two badass warriors. And I hope they do immediate rematch. Dana White, do the immediate rematch. We will watch that pay-per-view again. Because right now, Rory McDonald's already beat everybody in the top 10 almost. He's already fought Hendricks twice. He's already fought Rory McDonald's twice. And those are the top dogs. The only person he hasn't fought is Tyrone Woodley. And Tyrone Woodley is a wrestler that wants to hold people down. People don't want to see that. I like Tyrone Woodley. I think he's a really good fighter. But, it is what UFC's money-making business. And if you're just coming out there holding guys down and humping on people, What do you expect? You know what I mean? It's like nobody wants to see that. That's the reason nobody wants to be matched up with him, because even if you lose, it's not going to be a good fight for you, you know? These fighters are thinking about their stock, too. So, I'll say, hey, Tyrone Woodley's in line. Do the rematch when both of them are healthy again, and then Tyrone Woodley can get the winner of the rematch. So, good fight. If you missed it, go see it. Watch the replay or something. All right, y'all.